Hey, what's happening, everyone? Pragmatic Addict here. I'm, of course, joined by JTJ. So we're finally back home. We couldn't drop this review yesterday because we went to an early screening of Shelby Oaks. I have that video up for those that do want to check it out. But I was really excited for this episode. So both of these episodes are involved with young Beavis and Butthead. And with that, while I was excited about that because I do find the younger selves of them, like the original ones, just more entertaining, I was a little bit upset also on another hand because I just want to know what happens with old Beavis and Butthead following their eviction, assuming everything with that has been canon, which has seemed like it. But these two episodes are titled Dispositors and Nacho Shake. So the first episode, titled Dispositors, reads, Beavis and Butthead try to donate sperm at a regular bank. So what I'll say about this first one, Dispositors, is that it starts very immediate. Like, to the point where the first scene, it looks like the plot of this episode, it looks like they've already been trying to get this in motion for some time. The episode opens up with them actually getting kicked out of a fertility bank, but it never explains why. With Beavis and Butthead in this plot, that's not something you bypass. I'm like, okay, well, they're already at a fertility bank. Why are they getting kicked out of that? You can't just open the episode up with that. Going forward from this, just, again, going back to how immediate everything was, the jokes as well as the feeling of the episode, as well as Beavis's personality and antics specifically in this episode, it was all just very fun throughout and immediately. And where the episode ends up going, where after they get kicked out of the fertility bank, we see them walking down the street, and after whatever happened with that, they eventually find another bank, a regular bank, and it was just so fun to see them in this location, also a new location like a bank, and just with how crowded it was. And just, again, going back to Beavis's personality and his antics in this episode, just how you could expect Beavis to be in whatever scenarios could happen with this episode's plot, you get. But I will say, some of what was supposed to be the bigger jokes in this episode were just kind of stupid, and it didn't really seem to have any sort of an ending to me, or anything that felt climactic or rewarding. But the cutaway in this episode, I did find hilarious. It was also just really rough and just like classic as far as Butthead roasting Beavis about his mom. And one thing I've noticed, especially with this season, is that whenever Butthead roasts Beavis about his mom, which he has always done, and Beavis always has the typical, alright, Butthead, that's enough. He goes a lot harder in this season. I mean, we're talking like referencing his mom's drug addiction and how she just didn't give a fuck about Beavis as a baby. Like, it just, he seems to really be out for blood for that in this season, I've noticed. And finally, how the overall episode finishes off. We get another one of Anderson's war stories, but I don't know how I feel about this being called a war story. Anderson states that it was during the Vietnam War, right?
Yeah.
He states that it was still during the Vietnam War, but he says, oh, I left the army to fight some controversies back home. And the personality and, I guess you can say era, I guess just personality that we see Anderson in, it was funny to see, but it was also very baffling to see. And because of all those, and just as a whole with this episode, I really didn't know how to feel about it. And overall, I'm going to have to say that I'm a little bit more mixed than anything about this one.
I kind of like the sperm bank episode, just mainly because it starts off with them literally being kicked out, and I'm like, buddy.
But why?
That's what I want to know. Why did they get kicked out?
Like, the episode opens and the guy goes, you guys stay out. And I'm like, huh? No, what?
Yeah, we deserve answers.
You cannot do that in a Beavis and Butthead episode with this plot.
But that episode looked like it was going to go in so many directions. There was literally a time where I'm like, okay, I know what's going to happen. And I'm like, oh. And then I know, okay, I definitely know what's going to happen. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, throughout the episode, we were like, okay. And then it would, like, curveball, and then we were like, huh? Okay, what? Oh. So, I mean, it had a lot of curveballs. It had a lot of good humor. But just overall, I just don't know how I feel about it. Because while I found a lot of things funny in the episode, a lot of, like, the bigger jokes where you're like, okay, that's supposed to be, like, the standout. It just didn't really hit me. And there was just a lot of things where I'm like, you could have done so much better as far as, like a story and stuff.
I think I'm going to rate it a 4.9.
And now the next episode, titled Nacho Shake, reads, Beavis and Butthead invent a new Burger World menu item that will make them rich. What I'll say about this one is that it was great to see Burger World again, but the way that Beavis and Butthead were acting right away when they walk into work, it just didn't feel right, even for them. Like, they walk into the Burger World with the uniforms on and everything. They've obviously been working at Burger World for a long time as far as the show. I know that they don't age, they're still in high school and everything. But as far as back as Beavis and Butthead goes, we've always seen them at Burger World. This isn't a new thing. But they show up in their uniforms and they go, wait, why are we here again? And I'm like, guys, it's only been like 30 years. And then going even further with this, when they see their boss and he's telling them about this new item, this new menu item called Mexican nachos, Beavis just starts eating them right there. He's just like, oh, nachos, and just starts eating them. No one's saying anything, and I'm just like, again, I get it that they're Beavis and Butthead and they're stupid, but the jokes gotta land. They gotta make sense. They gotta work, and they just weren't. But the idea of the shenanigans that they could get into, just because, they were being trained how to work this machine that this new item is coming from and not paying attention. Also, seeing Burger World for the first time after so long, I was definitely curious to see where everything would go. But after the cutaway where the episode goes from there, which first off, I am just going to talk about the cutaway real quick. The idea for the cutaway, like the commentary, the subject, it was really fun as an idea, but it felt more chill, wasn't as funny as it definitely could have been, as you would hope or expect. But still, just as an idea, I was enjoying watching it enough. But it also just felt a bit too long, and with that, just how short the episodes already are, and where the episode goes immediately from this cutaway, yeah, I just didn't know how I felt about this entire episode. Which, where the episode goes from this cutaway, we see them very briefly doing something with the machine, and then we just see them have a random dream sequence, and it shows them imagining themselves getting famous and having a bunch of money, and that was funny as a sequence and some of the stuff that happens in there. But just with the episodes being so short and us not getting a whole lot before that dream sequence, and a lot of the episode being the cutaway, I just couldn't help but be really disappointed, especially with just how I felt about the first episode, and with these episodes both being about, again, younger Beavis and Butthead, and one of them having the return of Burger World. But after the sequence, it does go more into them actually experimenting with this machine and with the shake, which is what I wanted to see. Was afraid that we were not going to, because it just jumped straight to the sequence after the cutaway. But just for the return of Burger World, how weak the episode was compared to how it could have been, and just the odd pace overall with it, and even some of the bigger things like the dream sequence just not being as funny as it could have. Yeah, this whole episode just left me not really knowing how to feel. I was just really disappointed with it, and overall I'm going to give this one a mixed review as well.
They didn't really do much. It was just, I gotta be honest, I'm going to give this one a 1.9.
So guys, that does it for our thoughts on Beavis and Butthead Season 3, Episode 7. Really disappointed in this one. But we still got more episodes to come, guys, and we will definitely be seeing you next week with Episode 8. With all that being said, guys, let us know what you guys thought of our reviews, as well as for those that did see the episode, what did you guys think of this one? With all that being said, we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one very soon.